midterm party at her school. Homemade brownies in hand, hopping from foot to another. She couldn't wait to go to school. But just as she was about to leave, an email came through to her mum's computer. It said that Auckland Transport was going to be spraying her road that day. She missed her class party. Her mum couldn't risk exposing her to the toxic chemicals that makes them both so very ill. This is why I am here today, presenting this vitally important document to you. It's a human rights impact assessment that confirms Auckland Transport is violating not just this little girl's human rights by continuing to expose her to the damaging chemicals she absolutely cannot avoid, but everybody in our city that still has to endure these sprays. As the author Dr. Tom Kearns notes, human rights standards apply to individuals, not just to communities or majorities. This means that if even one or two persons' rights are violated, then human rights violations have occurred. But right now, right here, before I go any further, I need to demolish the plot that transport uses to exonerate itself from its fundamental duty of care to keep people safe and protect their health and well-being. This is the no spray register. Let me illustrate with another story. This lady is so severely affected by the chemicals transport uses, she is rendered helpless and bedridden for days after exposure. Let's say this is her house. It's on the no spray register. But to get to the shops for food, or even to her doctor, she has to pass this house, and this house, and this house, and all the roads and houses that surround her, that have been sprayed. But transport uses this little patch in front of her house to absolve itself of any further responsibility. But for this lady, it's literally a prison that transport has trapped her in. It's invisible bars, the swathe of chemicals have sprayed along the road. The no spray register does not protect this lady, nor does it protect the little girl across the city. Nor does it protect Auckland Transport from its human rights obligations to treat everyone fairly and without discrimination, as detailed in this report. We commissioned this human rights report because we have become deeply disturbed by the inability of Auckland Transport to acknowledge, let alone respond to the needs of people like this to be safe and secure. We're disturbed that Auckland Transport does not understand or does not care about the impact of toxic chemicals on people and the environment. We're disturbed that Auckland Transport seems to be using its arm's length CCO status as justification for its actions and inaction. And that in taking this path, Transport is deliberately ignoring the history of non-chemical choice in this city and negating the decades of democratic decision-making that went into it. And of huge relevance, we are disturbed and frustrated that Auckland Transport appears to be excluding itself by default, not by intention, from compliance with Council's hugely important 2013 weed management policy that establishes a non-chemical priority for all roadside treatments. Yes, non-chemical, and yes, you've heard all this before. But why do we have to keep repeating it? This non-chemical priority is unequivocal, and no pussyfooting around will change its message one jot. But Auckland Transport does need to change its message. Auckland Transport needs to stop telling us and Council it cannot afford non-chemical control because it's too expensive. This is simply not true. Auckland Transport is perpetuating a fiction that we corrected over a year ago with detailed information on costing. But inexplicably and much more worrying, it also appears that Auckland Transport is deliberately trying to halt any progress on non-chemical initiatives. This is a huge concern. For example, why is it instructing an innovative and forward-looking contractor to revert to using chemicals when Transport had accepted their tender to treat non-chemically? And why has Auckland Transport granted explicit permission for another contractor to chemically spray an area that has been exclusively non-chemical for decades, especially when their accepted tender was for the prescribed non-chemical treatment. What sort of message is this sending, Mr. Chairman? We have gone to extraordinary lengths over the last 4 years to connect and work positively with the confines of this new Supercity organisation. But every opportunity and avenue and every road taken has been a dead end with Auckland Transport. In short, this is why we were forced to commission this human rights assessment. Auckland Transport is not listening, and because it's not listening, it is not engaged. This is not good enough, Mr. Chairman. Auckland Transport has an overriding duty of care. For all of us, it is necessary that everyone at Auckland Transport really listens, takes this human rights report and their responsibilities seriously and acts. And it bears repeating. The solution is available and viable, and has been for decades. As recommended in this report, Auckland Transport can take immediate steps to significantly reduce its human rights liabilities by initiating and implementing non-chemical vegetation control across all its contracts. Not later, but now. We commissioned this report because people in need, like the little girl whose story I opened with, cannot wait any longer to be recognised and their situation ameliorated. It is not good enough for Auckland Transport to continue to drag its feet when their inaction is causing harm. We commend this report to you. Please hear us and please act. Thank you.
Thank you.